Greetings, greetings in grace. Hey, we are talking about alcohol today in the Bible. Yes, we are. We're going to have some fun with it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty. We're going to ask some hard questions and we are going to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Last call for alcohol. Shot, 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 shot. Everybody, we're going to talk about it. But hey, I pray that you are excited. I pray that, you know what I'm saying, you're hungry for some truth and even when it comes to controversial topics, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking like the stuff that is actually in the Bible. A lot of the things actually aren't taught nor talked about in the average church. And the reason why I'm saying that is because yes, false churches exist, but also the 501c3 exists. And last I checked, you actually have to know this, you guys. There are a lot of things that cannot be said when you are 501c3. There are things that pastors can't talk about. Isn't that crazy? The word. But I mean, it just goes to tell you why mix the church and the state. Even, you know what, we're not going to get into it, even though we could, because, you know, it could be a rabbit hole. But look, we're going to get into the word. But again, I pray you are well. Pray you had a phenomenal day. If your day was just a little I pray it gets phenomenal from this point out and that you wake up refreshed, restored, and excited, ready to rock things out, take things up a notch, and pump it louder, as the Black Eyed Peas say. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so Proverbs chapter 31, and this is what we're going to read. We're going to read verses 1 through 9 today. Sayings of King Lemuel. King Lemuel. The sayings of King Lemuel, an inspired utterance his mother taught him. Listen, my son, listen, son of my womb. Listen, my son, the answer to my prayers. Do not spend your strength on women, your vigor on those who ruin kings. It is not for kings, Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for rulers to crave beer, lest they drink and forget what has been decreed, and deprive all the oppressed of their rights. Let beer be for those who are perishing, wine for those who are in anguish. Let them drink and forget their poverty and remember their misery no more. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and needy. All right. You already know what time it is. Hey, enjoy this. But you know what? We're going to do a little bit differently today. I want to talk to you. You know, I'm going to look directly into the camera. Bam. I want you to see my eyes. I want you to feel as though I'm looking directly into you, the amazingness of you, maybe the part of you that you may not even see right now, but it's there. And I want to let you know that if I can't physically see it right now, that I'm channeling something special to you right now, spiritually. I'm talking about, you know, God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, nothing else. But I'm saying I need you to start seeing yourself the way that God sees you. I dare you to look yourself in the mirror, say, enter your name, say, I forgive you for all of your mistakes. I love you. And if you cannot say it, I want to encourage you to continuously do it until you can. I don't care if you cry, do it again and do it again and do it again, because you know what? There's a purpose on the inside of you. And it is time for you to wake it up. It's time for you to know who you are. It's time for you to get things going, because I'm telling you right now, me, Imani, look, I cannot do it by myself. I don't want to do it by myself. Look, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. You are needed. You are necessary. There's a lot that you bring to the table, but you have to work on you first. And you got to get it together so that I can help you and other people can help you get it together. There's resources out here. Connect with us. Connect with me. Connect with the people out here that have the resources. All right. That's what I really want to say. Okay, let's get on into the word. Okay. So we're talking about alcohol, man. Okay, so for those of us who can be transparent, right, and honest enough about it, you know what I'm saying, especially if you are an entrepreneur or if you've gone through something traumatic or anything like that, quite a few of us can be some form of an alcoholic. Yes, we can. Even if we're in denial, we can be. Even if it's functioning, we can be functioning, a functioning person, drink a lot, still get stuff done, and still, yes, be an alcoholic. In fact, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff today because, we got some definitions and you already know alcoholic definition. No, it's not. No, not by number of, excuse me. 20 alcoholism. What is considered out an alcoholic? Wow, 6 days ago. Okay, come through. Okay, check this out. Dang. Right? So the addictiongroup.org definition of an alcoholic. Alcoholism or alcohol use disorder is a chronic relapse in brain disease that causes intense alcohol cravings. People with an AUD can't stop drinking regardless of the consequences to their health. AUD can affect anyone. However, some people are more predisposed to it than others. Factors that can cause alcoholism include and can relate to genetics. That's a big one, y'all, especially if it runs in the family. Environment. That's one. Psychological factors, social factors, and they should have entrepreneurship up here as well. There's a difference between being safe, moderate, and harmful drinking. Most people don't know how to identify dangerous alcohol use. Here are some helpful ways to determine if you might have a drinking problem. So feel free to go on to addictiongroup.org, but I'm pretty sure one of them is, in fact, emotionally based. Let's see, being able to reduce experiencing cravings. I've had that one. To reach a desired effects. Okay, no, not that one. Let's see. Yes, I have experienced developing alcohol withdrawal symptoms when you stop drinking. Giving up recreational, social, occupation activities you enjoy in favor of alcohol. No, I could go anywhere. Let's see. Being unable to meet obligations at work, home, or school due to alcohol use. That is interesting. Because you know what? If I'm to be honest with you, during that year that I stopped drinking because I was doing it too much, I was like, this is not the bee's knees. I wasn't feeling it. I'm like, man, I would really like a drink. And, only a couple of times where I was actually emotional. I'm like, man, I could really use a drink right now. But there was a lot of I just wanted to drink just to drink and a drink to, rock some things out and move faster. But, God really, really blessed me with the ability to just simply stop. And I'm grateful for it. And a big part of that was also focusing on healing. And you're like, you know what, let's just go through what I need to go through so that I can, heal and be able to articulate and express myself and no longer suppress emotions, because it didn't start out with emotion. It did not start out with emotion. I genuinely enjoy drinking, and so I was like, okay, that's cool. But I started to use it based upon emotion. And that was because I needed to still perform. So I made sure to leverage it so that I could, in fact, perform, which was, in fact, suppressing my emotions that I really wasn't dealing with because I didn't know how to deal with them. And so it turned into alcoholism without a doubt. So let's see, continue to use abuse alcohol effects on your relationship and social life, drinking alcohol, physically. No, do not do this. Do not drink alcohol in physically dangerous situations. People, do not drive or operate heavy machine. Just look, if you really are going to do it, please do so in a safe manner. I highly advise against it because, honestly, if you get really, really drunk and you're not wise about it, you could really hurt yourself. You could hurt somebody else. You could send stupid drunk text messages. You know what I'm saying? Just don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't get to a point where you're not functioning. So, be smart. But we're going to get into it. Continuing to drink alcohol despite its consequences on your physical and mental health. So, there's a whole lot of stuff. Oh, they've got quizzes and they got questions and stuff like that. How much alcohol is too much? Look, you guys, take a look at all these things, right? So why are we even talking about alcohol so much today? Because Mom to King Lemuel was talking about, King Lemuel was talking about what his mama said. His mama said, don't spend your strength on women. Let's look up strength. Let's look up what strength means specifically. let's see, STRENGTH, and share this tab. All right. I hope you guys can keep up with me today. I am in the zone, and zone Imani moves pretty quickly. So definition of strength. We're going to do the etymology, and then we're going to check out the blue letter. We're going to check out the Blue Letter Bible as well. So, definition of strength: quality of being strong, power of any kind, active or passive force, vigor, solidity or toughness, power to resist attack, excellence, intensity, brightness, validity, vigor of style or expression, security, amount of force, potency of liquors of fortification. I love this. And I think it's dope that this included liquor in here because of, the fact that, it's mentioned multiple times in the first 9 verses. But your strength, men, you guys have a power too. And unfortunately, we are seeing over and over again men giving their power and spending their strength on women who do not care, right? On women who aren't even praying for them, on women who only want, one thing. Hey, look, Lauryn Hill said it best. Guys, you better watch out. Some girls are only about that thing. Some girls are like that too. And you have to be careful, and you need to be vigilant, and you need to be sober minded, so and you can exercise discernment. There's a book. It's an amazing book. I love this book. I recommend that every man on earth read this book, especially if you are, an aspiring athlete, what I'm saying, or of higher caliber. You're out here, you're rocking things out. You have very strong major goals. And that is called Outwitting the Devil. And Napoleon Hill talks about how when men start making it, how all these women start flocking to them. And let me tell you guys something. A lot of people know. We know. You guys will say it yourself. Women know that you guys are visual. So you can have a horrible characteristic of a woman, dress nice one day, and she milky for all you're worth. I mean, we saw it. Was it Samson? Was it Samson in the Bible, and that chick Delilah, or was it Solomon and that chick Jezebel? I don't remember which one, but I think it was Samson. I think it was Samson. And that chick, she was horrible. She got him to cut off his dress. She was using her body like that was a demon. And a lot of dudes are falling for demonic women like that. And you have to be careful. Look, he's repeating what his mama said. Do not spend your strength on women. Stop doing it. Stop giving your power away. Stop giving your power away. Do not fall for the hype, which we already know. If you guys don't know, and I'll show you right now. Hype literally means fake. Stop falling for the fake news. Just because a woman is giving you attention doesn't mean that she actually cares about you. Doesn't mean that she cares about your legacy. You already know. What was it when Drake I thought this was hilarious, by the way. It was when Drake made headlines because some chick decided to take, the leftovers of the events that conspired, that happened that night. And she learned that things started to turn on fire because he put hot sauce in it. I thought that was hilarious. Serves her right, because you got to understand that some people would try to trap you. Some people would try to trap you. And you have to understand that there is something wonderful and powerful about a man who can not just abstain, but exercise self-discipline and exercise wisdom. At the end of the day, intercourse is in fact a swapping of the spirits. Now, I do know there is a difference between a man having sex and a woman having sex outside of marriage, everything like that. Yeah, I get it. But let me tell you something. There is something to be said if a man has, a high body count, how it can affect his emotions, his mental health, how it can affect his own conversation, his emotional intelligence when it comes to meeting a good woman, and he don't even know what to do because he out here, he giving it away like left and right, So I just want to encourage you guys to really start to think about your legacy. A lot of the times people, when they start dating, they just want to date. They just want to date and spend money. Like, You know how you could find out. I'm gonna give you guys some ideas. You know how you could find out if a good girl is really a good girl, a genuine girl, and actually cares about you, right? First of all, don't take her right out on a date, especially once you meet her and everything like that. You need to test her character. You need to find out what she about, what her principles are, things like that. Take her to a volunteer place. Volunteer at a place that means something to you, or something that you feel as though would be nice and giving back and kind as a first date, and be like, hey, this is what you need to wear, this, and then pick her up, take her out on that. Matter of fact, go to the library. Both of those, by the way, are free, and you don't have to spend the money for your legacy on a first, maybe second or third date. You know what I'm saying? Actually take the time to vouch, and I mean not vouch, vet somebody first, because you want a woman, the type of lady, we're going to talk about her tomorrow, wife material. You want the type of woman that can actually carry your seed and take care of the seeds that you guys create, that you give her. But also you want the type of woman that wants you to live long, right? Don't you want that? Don't you want the woman who is going to feed you healthy stuff and not the stuff that clogs your arteries all day long? You got to think about that. You got to think about the type of woman that you really want. And then you got to ask yourself, are you the type of man to get that type of woman? You know what I'm saying? And it's vice versa. It's vice versa. You know what I'm saying? But you got to understand that as a man, you guys do have power, and you got to stop giving it away. And you got to be mindful, be faithful to your purpose, and be faithful to who you are as a man, and making sure that you don't allow, just a random women to just, get into your space, your intimate space. We saw what happened with Samson. I think it was Samson. It was Samson. Remember, because he was strong and everything like that, and his hair grew. And then this chick, she was trying to figure out why he was so strong and everything like that. And they kept sleeping together and all this stuff like that. And he kept telling her lies. But how like, he had to have been drunk. He had to have been drunk, because I mean, seriously, the fact that, he told her something, which was a lie. And then next thing you know, the next day or whatever, guards try to do what, would take his strength away. And it happened like 2-3 times. I'm like, Samson, baby, wake up, pay attention. She is playing you, and I'm like, baby, what happened? Was it drugs? I mean, like, what were you doing? Because he was not paying attention. He was giving his strength and his power away each and every single night with that woman. And she was playing him the whole entire time. You got to know what woman is actually there for you when you don't have anything. You got to know that. You got to know that you guys will be like, okay, let's rock it out. We're going to make something happen. Matter of fact, if she's dope, if she is in fact a Proverbs 31 woman, she'll have a little something to help out, or she'll be able to be like, let's do this, and we're going to work it out together, baby, and we're going to make it happen. And look, it might be a short temporary time where, what, things are crappy right now, but you know what, we're going to make it through. So I really want to encourage you guys as men to stop giving your power away. You know what I'm saying? It's all right to chase after purity. Baby, be pure. You know what I'm saying? You know what? You hit a woman up with I would actually rather wait until marriage and then see how she responds to that. You know what I'm saying? Because then you could find out if she actually cares about you, if she values you enough to even talk about, okay, let's really get to know each other. Because let me tell you something, that's actually attractive. 1, 2, a man who may or may not, what is it that you want? You know what I'm saying? Do you want something long lasting? Are you still trying to figure things out? Because a man who's intentional, it's clear. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, you gotta find healthy ways to test these women, to ensure that you're not giving your strength and your power away. 50%, or is it 51% of these marriages in North America are ending up in divorce, and the men are losing money. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the reasons why I'm like, man, shoot, look, I ain't mad at y'all. If y'all start being like, yo, I want a prenup, I get it. Shoot. Because you got to think about it this way. If you guys decide, or, like I said, 80% of women are filing for a divorce. Okay. Something happened. Okay. So you get a divorce. Okay. You guys already made up in your mind. Look, if it ever ends or whatever down the line, this is what I'm willing to give you. This is what you're willing to give me. If whatever reason, even though we're not looking to end this, You know what I'm saying? But in the event something off just happens, no matter what, you're good. You're good. That's it. That's what it is. Because taking something from someone, especially if it's the type of woman, and I'm not saying all women, are saying especially if it's the type of woman who actually didn't really care about you and she literally just wants to milk you. That's the wrong type of woman. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand that there are women out here who literally just want a freaking wedding. They just want a wedding. They don't care about the marriage. They didn't take time to prepare for a marriage. And in fact, they playing around. You know what I'm saying? You got to give time. You got to give people time, patience. Patience reveals hidden devils. My apostle taught me that. That's so true. That is so true. Patience reveals hidden devils, because you know what? People cannot keep up an act. You got to see who someone is during the good and the bad seasons, and you got to see how they react. You know what I'm saying? And you can't always see that right away. You can stay in prayer. That would help you tremendously. Do some fasting, do some praying, because then you're more aware of the spirit of someone, and you can be like, God, show me who this person is. Is this the woman for me? Not only that, if it's not supposed to work out, please separate us. You know what I'm saying? Those are powerful prayers. They'll be like, you know what, Lord, if we're not supposed to be, I thank you for a smooth, clean and cut break, and then let it go, and then keep it moving. Because you know what, trying to force something because of fear of scarcity, or because of anything, or because of emotions getting attached too quickly, can actually cause more harm than good. Hurt people hurt people. I'm not saying people do it on purpose, but it's out there. And you guys got to stop giving away your strength, because what happens is when you give away your strength to the wrong woman, there's good women out here who are in fact preparing for marriage, who are in fact of noble character, who are in fact already would be a great mother, because they've already learned and how to and practice on how to be a great mother, things like that. They've prepared for those things, and you end up hurting her if you have not healed, and if you didn't make the right decisions. And so it comes down to the same way men would tell us women. It comes down to accountability. It comes down to the accountability of our decisions. So I just really want to encourage you guys with that, because it's unfortunate when you see good guys and they get played. They get played by someone who really just didn't care about them. And that's sad to me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, dang, you know what I'm saying? And you look at her, and she could be smoking hot, super gorgeous, and just really on the inside, super ugly, and has no real goals, no real plans, doesn't know what she wants. There's zero smarts. In the event of anything, she wouldn't know what to do. She wouldn't be able to help you. Matter of fact, this is what we'll call them, the lifetime women syndrome. And I say this because growing up, every Saturday and Sunday, Lifetime television for women was always freaking playing. So aggravating. But you know what? I was able to figure out these movies before they ended, right? A lot of these wives, in the midst of whatever was going on, they were freaking out. They didn't know what to do. I'm not talking all the movies, because some of them were crazy, but I'm just saying, say something off is happening, and they're like, what do we do? Screaming, everything like that. Like, girl, do like what? Young man come in, talk about, hey, somebody's trying to kill us. You sitting there asking all these questions. Look, you need to have a go bag ready. Like, oh, word, that's what's happening. Okay, then who we need to get, baby? Let's get this on a, you got to be more useful. I know it's controversial. I know it's controversial, but I'm just saying, I think there's too much of it, and you gotta, gentlemen, you gotta want something more than just a pretty face, a baby maker, and someone who's gonna clean, and someone who's gonna cook. Because you know what? Yeah, she may be able to have babies, but is she nurturing? Will she care about the children? Will she care about, if you are in different types of relationships, will she care about your history and her history, and making sure that the child's well-rounded? Will she, like, how will you guys raise them? How do you guys believe in disciplining your children? You know what I'm saying? You got to think about those. You got to ask questions like that. You got to think, just because she can cook, it doesn't mean that she knows how to give you the type of foods that you need. Fun fact, the testosterone levels, if you don't believe me, check out I want to say it was Anthony O'Neill. He dropped a video with this doctor. He's a nutritionist, right? And he talked about how the testosterone levels used to be 1,000 and some change for the average man. Now the average is 200, around 200. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. No wonder, all of these things are happening in the world today. Our men have been weakened, and you guys don't really realize it. And I got love for you guys, And so it's like, look, you need to find out, okay, if you're going through something, an ailment, right? A situation, you're sick. What's she going to make for you? Is she going to make the stuff that's going to give you the right nutrients to help heal you? Or, you know what I'm saying? Is she going to feed you doggone, I'm black. Is she going to feed you fried chicken each and every single night? Knowing that at the end of the day, that's not going to help you become stronger. Kale is going to help you become stronger. You know what I'm saying? So like all of these things that I feel as though not enough of men are paying attention to. You guys are missing these things, and you got to pay attention. You got to make sure you're asking those tough questions. That's important. That's important. That's important for your legacy. You want to make sure you guys are on the same page. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right. I know I talked a lot about that. I'm passionate about it because you know what, I am, and I do believe in healthy marriages. I do believe in it. You know what I'm saying? I have seen a lot of toxic marriages, and I've seen a handful, literally a handful of healthy marriages. And I understand that there has been such an attack on them. There's been such an attack on healthy relationships. There's all of these things. There's the manosphere, there's feminism, misandry, all a red pill, blue pill, all of these things and gurus, and a lot of it is just crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's like this emotional battle, gender war left and right, when it's like, hold on a second. Let's everybody focus on healing. Let's everybody go to therapy. Let's everybody really talk about it. Okay. Let's talk about it in a respectful and compassionate manner, exercising both grace and truth. Remember, Jesus the Christ, Emmanuel, Jesus the Christ, talked about it, grace and truth. And let's come together and let's figure out if this works or not long term, right? Long term. Does her vision, does who she is, her character align with your vision? Is it going to help you? You know what I'm saying? You really got to think about these things, you guys. And it's important. It's important because a lot of people, man, it's wild out here. It's wild out here. And it's hurtful when you find out or you learn that people don't really care about people, that there are people out there like that. You know what I'm saying? And you got to recognize that ahead of time. You got to recognize that before you catch feelings. You got to recognize, would this woman pray for me? You know what I'm saying? Like, pray for my health, pray for my wealth, pray for me to continuously be strong. You know what I'm saying? And then you, as a man, need to make sure that you are, in fact, praying for her as well. Because that's what, if you need to ask for what you want, you also need to be able to give, or the equivalent to. That's what they're talking about. If you don't believe me, ask those who are relationship coaches, married people who are relationship coaches. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? But you guys got to stop giving your strength away. It's unfortunate when you see, baby fathers out here, they got multiple baby moms, and they out here miserable. They out here, or, you got, some toxic men, you know what I'm saying? And they playing around with a bunch of women. Hold men accountable. Men need to hold more men accountable. If you are a man that is a leader, that knows who he is, you know your purpose, you have your mentors, and you're consistently growing and investing in yourself, I would love to encourage you to make sure that those people that who aren't necessarily doing that, love them enough to be honest with them. Be like, no, you need to get it together, brother, because let me tell you something. Those women that you're messing up is just creating this toxic cycle. Because a man who has given away his strength to the wrong woman, that woman has been played most of the time by a toxic man, by the wrong man. And it's just this cycle, and it's this cycle. You got to end the cycle. And men, I want to encourage you as the leaders, right? As the first to take the step. I want to encourage you guys to lead the way on that. Yes. So stop giving away your strength. Wow, I really said a whole entire lecture, and I dropped an earring. I dropped my earring, y'all. Excuse me. Y'all looking for wives, you know what I'm saying? Look in other places. Don't go to the club. Don't go to a bar. You know what I'm saying? You want to look for a good woman? Go check out a library. You know what I'm saying? Go to a library. Go to, places that they got wife schools, and look at places where people actually have to pay to get a quality date. Huge difference out here. All right. Wow. Okay. Excuse me, y'all. I literally lectured for wow. Okay. We're not even gonna say, but okay. So strength, because I really want to look it up in the blue leather Bible. Blue letter Bible. Okay. So y'all can see it. Okay. So we're in Proverbs. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Proverbs 30:31. Do not spend your strength on women. Here we go. Here we go. Strength. Oh, no. Go back. Do not spend your strength. Oh my gosh. Which one was it again? Here we go. Okay, so strength. Interlinear. Strength. Your strength. Yeah. Baby, what did you do? Okay. We were here. We were right on it. Okay, strength and dignity. Here we go. Excuse me, y'all. Might, strength, material, personal or social or political, strong power, might, boldness, loud, mighty. Right? Let's see. Scroll. All right. So this type of strength, by the way, is mentioned 92 times in 91 verses in the original Hebrew. So, right, third person masculine, plural. So, your strength in various applications for security. I love that one, security. So your money, save your money, gentlemen. Find out who she is. Talk to her first. Have conversations first. Majesty, praise, boldness, loud, might, power, strength, strong. Right? Look, I'm rooting for you guys. I am rooting for marriages, healthy marriages, and us like really just changing the world for better. And come on, leadership. I'm rooting for you guys. Okay, so let's see. Your vigor on those who ruin kings. So we're gonna look up vigor real quick. Vigor. Okay. Active strength, physical force, vital strength in animals or plants, strength of mind, energy. Ooh, that's good. Don't spend your strength of mind or energy on women who ruin kings, or or on those. It said those. So that's men and women. Don't spend your vigor. Don't spend your mind and your peace and your energy on the type of people who ruin kings. That is a word. Okay, so it is not for kings to drink wine, you guys. So you guys got to think about this, right? You don't want alcohol to take over your entire life. I am okay. So I'll say it like this, but it's controversial. It's controversial because at the end of the day, I do understand that everybody's different, and God has allowed certain things for certain people for, whatever reason God has said. And, I don't believe that, oh my goodness, if you're drinking alcohol, you're going to go to hell, or you're doing all of these things, you're going to go to hell. I don't believe that. The Bible tells us very clear, there is therefore no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. So you got to understand something. If it's keeping you away from growing in God, then that is a clear sign. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? But you also need to weigh the pros and cons of the things that you do, because everything has a good and bad consequence. You got to weigh those pros and cons. Remember, we talked earlier on in the series, we talked about counting the costs. That's so important, you guys, because you got to think long term about these things. You got to count the cost, count the cost, count the costs, man. Count the costs. Because you know what? If you are really trying to get closer to God, you need to weigh and look at all of the things that you do. And then you got to make those decisions. If it's not getting you closer to God, if you're not growing stronger in who it is that God has called you to be, if you're not making progress on your purpose, then you got to get to the root of that. What is the cause of that? And if it's something that you are overly consuming, there is an issue there. You can't allow these things to take over your life. You know what I'm saying? And, alcohol could easily be drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's all types of drugs. Some people believe that, marijuana is a gateway drug. Some people don't. I'm one of those people. I look at it and I understand that there's different ways and different types of, getting marijuana, and you got to understand, okay, sober minded, what does that mean? And then also weigh the pros and cons of that. You don't want to be high and, not be able to function if that's what you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? And then you also got to factor in, because there's controversy around it. People are like, you can't do that. You got to be of sober mind. My response to that respectfully is, the next time you have a headache, don't take an Advil. Don't take a Tylenol. Don't take an Aleve. Do not take an ibuprofen. Don't take any NSAIDs. You know what I'm saying? So, right, NSAID, NSAID. Don't take any of those. If you have a headache, power through it. That's respectfully, that is my rebuttal to that. So you got to ask yourself, is this keeping me from running and operating in my fullest, highest potential, or is it hindering me? And you have to ask yourself that. So quick pros and cons, and then we're gonna yeah, and then that's it. That's it for today. Okay. Oh wait, is it pros? Yeah, pros and cons. Okay, pros and cons, and you know what? And I listed up withdrawals. So we'll do 8 pros and cons. Share to this tab. All right. So pros and cons. Pros of alcohol. It could lower the risk of cardiovascular disease. It can it increases the strength of the immune system. It may reduce the chances of developing dementia. It reduces the chance of developing a gallstone. Now let's talk about cons. And I'm pretty sure all of this, is in moderation. Moderation, you guys. So cons of alcohol consumption: it can be highly addictive. It can cause organ damage. It changes how people make decisions. And if you are a king, right? And we can also bring that out to, those queens out there. If you're a king or queen, if you are a person in power, how are you making decisions? You know what I'm saying? Got to be sober, right? It limits a person's ability to react. You got to be able to function. So those are some pros and cons. Definitely check that out. And one last thing, we're going to share to this tab. And by the way, that was on healthresearchfunding.org. Okay, yeah, it didn't show the actual site, but that was healthfundingresearch.org with those pros and cons. And this one is verywellhealth.com. And so, this is support family, friends and family, behavioral treatment, support group, trying patient rehabilitation. But here are some symptoms: mild to moderate tremors, anxiety. That's a big one. Night sweats, restlessness, irritability. That's a classic teller right there. Nightmares, severe symptoms, seizures, severe tremors, increased heart rate, fever, nausea, vomiting, hallucination, increased agitation. You guys, you got to be careful. So if you are looking to quit, I support it. I just want to let you know that you're not alone. Reach out to somebody, get some help and do some research on it and prepare to quit. Don't just quit cold turkey. You know what I'm saying? Because, you can end up hurting yourself. So why don't you plan and prepare for the quitting if you are choosing to quit? So, hey, know that whatever you decide, as long as it makes you happy, as long as you're at peace with it, you are supported this way. So the first 8 hours, this is what you can expect: restlessness, clammy, pale skin, irritability, nervousness, loss of appetite, shakiness, nausea. first 24 hours: mood swings, night sweats, nightmares, depression, brain fog or not thinking clearly, headache or migraine, insomnia, difficulty sleeping, vomiting. That's some heavy stuff. Nausea, vomiting, tremors, agitation, seizures, hallucinations. So, if you are a heavy drinker, please don't just cold turkey, because you don't want to have a seizure, right? You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be out here vomiting and everything like that. And it was, to be honest with you, and I'll share this with you, and we'll call it a night. But my decision to stop drinking came after I was rocking things out, you know what I'm saying? I was doing, handling business and everything like that, but like I was making this really good drink, and it's a good drink, and it's a good drink. But and I'm saying that taste wise, I'm not saying, hey, it's a healthy drink it, it's good. Let me make sure that in context you understand what it is that I'm saying. But no, it was a very tasty drink. I was like making Mississippi mudslides, you know what I'm saying? I was using coffee, and I was using Kahlua. I had the vodka and creamer, and like I'm tossing in marshmallows. I was tossing in freaking chocolate syrup on top of that, and I was leveraging hot chocolate. Excuse me, hot chocolate as well, and it was very tasty. It looked very pretty too. But let me tell you something. Mm, Circling back to what we were saying, it was very pretty. It looked pretty. It tasted delicious. But you know what happened? It got ugly. It got ugly because I ended up spitting up some stuff, and some of that stuff was blood. I ended up spitting that up, and I was like, you know what? It's time to stop drinking. And that was the moment for me, and that happened, we're in 2023, so that happened for me, I want to say either the end of November, right at the beginning of December 2021. I stopped drinking for about 3 weeks, and then so beginning of December, because I did have some shots on New Year's Eve when I went to hang out with a friend at her house, and she was just having a little get together, and we just chilled and everybody hung out or whatever. And after that, I decided to go an entire year. And I went an entire year in a couple of weeks. And I am happy to say that I made it through. That was one of the best decisions I ever made. I was very upset and irritable, very emotional, because I had suppressed emotions. Again, I was sharing with you, I ended up suppressing emotions. And that it just wasn't good. It wasn't good. And so I really need to deal with that, focus on the healing and the restoration. And there's only a few times when I was like, dang, I'm super emotional right now, and man, it's right up the street, or it's right there in front of me. I could literally have a glass and I would be so happy. But I knew that that happiness would only be temporary. Not only that, I knew that I would not have achieved this goal that I gave for myself, as someone who I can, transparently say, yes, I was a functioning alcoholic. And as someone who was a functioning alcoholic, I didn't want the alcohol to control me. And I didn't want to drink it on account of being emotional. I would rather drink because I actually want to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Not just because, hey, it's a new day. Hey, I'm going to drink because, hey, it's always something to celebrate. But it was, like, I don't want to do it. And I'm very grateful for it. It was very hard. It was very tough. I felt very insecure. Like, I felt like I lost my mojo, my confidence. And I'm like, yo, this is wild. And I really just dealt with me, you know, and I was like, dang, I really took it too far. I took it too far. And, I just want to encourage you that if you're like that, especially if it's genetic, right? I realized and I learned, and like I learned more, that, it really came from both sides. So when I think about the future, right? And an understanding that, okay, ending generational curses, right? Alcoholism can be, without a doubt, one of those things. And then ensuring that I am in control. And if I do decide to drink, one, it's not going to be out of emotion. Two, it's going to be like one or two like glasses. Three, I don't need to go out and buy alcohol every day. Don't. You know what I'm saying? And so I drink a lot of tea. I love tea. Tea is my best friend. I make some banging teas, you know what I'm saying? So I enjoy my teas, and I always have, juice, so my tea, which is also water. I have my homemade teas nearby as all the time. And I'm grateful. Also, if you are struggling with addiction, reach out to those people, who can actually help you with that. And then also know that things like mixed nuts can actually help battle those cravings. So if you're struggling with those cravings, I just want to encourage you, get some cashews, get yourself some pistachios, and eat those when you're feeling those cravings. In fact, just eat a good handful per day. A lot of great stuff, a lot of great information on that, how it could actually help you and things like that. So I just want to encourage you. So wow. Okay. Last call for alcohol. Yeah. 45 minutes in this, but I just want to let you know that I appreciate you. I'm rooting for you. Oh my gosh, if my earring falls one more time, I got to get the backs. I don't know what happened to the backs, y'all, but thank you for hanging with me. I'm excited for your wins. And hey, you are amazing. Keep your strength, rock it on out, and be strong. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in.